Sometimes, life teaches you its hardest lessons far earlier than you expect. I grew up in a quiet countryside town, with loving parents who were both teachers. My childhood felt simple and warm. I helped my mother cook, and I took care of my younger sibling. For a long time, I thought life would stay gentle forever. But everything changed when I turned 18. After spending 3 months helping a relative care for a baby, I came home with an itch across my back. At first, I didn't think much of it, but the itch spread, slowly, then all at once, until my father had to take me to the hospital. The doctor looked at my skin, paused for a moment, and said quietly, "You have psoriasis." I didn't understand what it meant, but I could feel my parents' silence, and the fear hiding inside it. That winter, the illness flared so badly, I stopped wanting to look at myself in the mirror. I tried to pretend I was fine, but inside, something was breaking. The girl who once laughed easily suddenly felt small and ashamed. And that was the moment my childhood innocence ended. A quiet shift, but one that changed the entire course of my life. High school was supposed to be a new beginning, a bigger city, new faces, but I carried my illness with me like a shadow. Every winter, the red patches came back. I wore long sleeves even indoors. I avoided changing clothes where others could see, and slowly, I learned how to hide myself. There was a boy who lived across the street, quiet, kind. We liked each other without ever saying it out loud. But every time he looked at me, I felt a sharp fear inside. What if he sees the truth under my sleeves? So I kept my distance, even though my heart wanted otherwise. College should have been freedom, a new chapter, a chance to start over. But my first winter there was the worst flare of my life. The itching, the pain, the shame so heavy I couldn't face anyone. I stayed in bed for days, curled under a blanket, wishing I could disappear. One morning, I couldn't take it anymore. I got on my bicycle and started riding toward home, 100 kilometers away. Halfway there, exhausted and shaking, I had to stop. A stranger helped me onto a bus. I don't remember his face, only the feeling of wanting to run from myself. When my father opened the door and saw me, he froze. My skin was covered in painful patches. I could barely speak. For days, I stayed in bed, hidden under blankets, too ashamed to face anyone, including myself. Eventually, I returned to school. Slow steps, small breaths, and somehow, the boy from across the street was still there, still gentle, still patient. Every weekend, he came to my dorm to help me apply medicine on my scalp. He never looked away, not once, even when the patches were at their worst. But inside, I was falling apart. I kept thinking, how could anyone love someone like me? That thought slowly cracked me open. The pressure kept building. The stares in the dorm, the whispers I pretended not to hear. One night I broke. My mind emptied out. I wandered the streets without knowing where I was going. Just walking, trying to escape my own thoughts. My boyfriend, my father, and a close friend searched everywhere. Hours passed. Finally, he found me standing on a corner, lost in my own mind. He touched my shoulder gently and whispered, "Please, don't forget me." I don't remember much after that. Only the feeling of being held, of being guided back home. And for a little while, with him beside me, I felt safe again. I felt like maybe life wasn't finished with me yet. When we reached home, my body felt empty. I remember the warm light in my room, my father calling my name, my boyfriend holding my arm, and then everything faded. For the first time in years, I felt safe enough to fall apart. The doctor came that morning. I sat curled on the bed, afraid to look up. He said I needed long treatment and rest. I nodded, ashamed of how small I felt, afraid I was becoming a burden again. That afternoon, I sat by the window. Snow had finally stopped, and for the first time, I wondered who I was beneath the fear and illness, and whether I still had enough strength to try again. That night, he came to clean the irritated patches on my skin. No questions, no pressure, just gentle, careful hands. In the quiet, something inside me softened, like I was being held without being judged. After he left, the shame returned. Why should he endure all of this? Why should anyone? I hated feeling helpless, but I didn't know how to be anything else yet. Later that night, my father sat beside me. No blame, no questions, only, you don't have to be strong every day. I'm here, and suddenly, the tears came like a flood I could no longer hold back. The next morning, I stepped outside. Only a few slow steps, but they felt heavy. Still, the snow glowed softly in the sun, and I knew I had to start again, even if every step trembled. Weeks later, I tried riding my bike again. I wobbled, fell, and tried again. Each time I stood up, something felt different, less fear, less shame. Maybe healing works that way. Slow, unsteady, but honest. The day I returned to work, my hands shook on the door handle. But a coworker smiled and said, "Welcome back." Just two small words. Yet somehow, they made the world feel softer. My illness is still here, the treatments still repeat, but I no longer run from it. I live slower, no, grateful, steady, present. Happiness, I've learned, often appears only when we're brave enough to stay.